Hello, everybody. Sorry I can't be in class. I'm going to do my best to kind of quickly move through my sketchbook and give you a little presentation of what I did. So firstly, I went to a life drawing class, not really class, I just pay money, and other artists and I sit around and draw from life. And this was like the fast poses, a little bit slower, 2-minute poses. These were more like 10-minute poses. This model was the sweetest thing. He was also the hairiest man I've ever seen. Think Robin Williams, but worse. And so like I was trying to replicate that. I don't think I managed it. Moving into botanical, this was my first attempt at gouache ever. And I want to like gouache. As of right now, I don't like it, but this was me playing with layering and like a different style than my usual. And some desert landscapes just done with, these were watercolor pencils and I wanted to wet them. And then I was like, no, I don't want to wet it. I want it to look like this. So I didn't. Hawaiian flowers, because I have a strong family connection to Hawaii and I wanted to, it's my favorite botanicals. So, and then finally my second gouache painting, and I did not like it. I had a rough time with it and I went downstairs and I was like, I hate gouache. Gouache is terrible. My husband's like, maybe you just need more practice. I was like, no. He's like, Alex Ross exclusively paints in gouache. It's like literal perfection. I was like, shut up. So just sharing that he was poking holes in my theory. I do need to practice with it, but as of right now, I don't want to. This is based on a TikTok of like, it goes from the sign down to the quokka. Quokkas are the cutest thing ever. And I, like everybody else, am obsessed with Jimothy. Heck yeah, he's so cute. And then I drew some pigs, and my husband and I had fun naming them, and we'd argue about the naming quite a bit. Finally, a watercolor of a jaguar. And there's a baby. Don't miss the baby. So cute. Okay, so in Disneyland, while I was there, I had my sketchbook again. And so like it was just kind of like what's around me that's an object I can draw while I'm stuck in lines. And so most of these are just like things that were around me. One or two are from photos, but for the most part, yeah, this was just fun to kind of record my vacation this way. This is me stuck in a meeting for 8 hours with not a lot to do, and people kept coming over and looking because I really shouldn't have been drawing through this meeting. I did. I think we've all been there. Anyway, I got to see the droid on the left like move around as a remote control. It's very cute, and so I was inspired to draw some droids. So these are not from a photo. These are actual mugs. I collect Joanna Parker, and so I set these out and had fun with my paint pens drawing them. Finally, into my portraits. These were 30-second Disneyland portraits, so you can imagine me in like a long line at Disneyland, and I'm like got my sketchbook and I'm like looking around trying to draw people as we're stuck, and I don't want them to see me, so there's a lot of aborted attempts and like half like just started and didn't get very far, but just like, and then they'd move or talk to their friends. They didn't know it was hard, but it was fun. And then this is me doing the same thing with my coworkers where I didn't want them to see me, and they were a little bit more still, so I got a little bit more slightly longer into it. But again, I didn't want them to like ask to see it, so it was like they couldn't see me. And then I wanted something more challenging and realistic, and so I went and did these of like ancient marble statues. And then finally, I was like, what am I going to do for my last portraits? I was like, I'll draw my favorite artists. And so I Googled Georgia O'Keeffe. And right there in the Google, there's both young portraits of her and old. And I really enjoyed having both and doing them at the same time, going from the young to the old. It was kind of a mental trip. So I highly recommend that at some point. Anyway, thank you. That's my sketchbook.